We're going to get started. I know you guys came for an EasyCMA class, and we're going to do that. Don't get me wrong. But we're going to spend a little bit more time in Paragon Connect. Hold on a second. Elena, mind. Got it. We've been trying to do this recording now all day too, so we finally got it. So anyway, I'm Terry Tanner. I'm with Black Knight. I'm the regional sales director for Black Knight and MLS. And so today's class, you know, Doug said EasyCMA, and I told him, I said, that's really going to take about 30 seconds. But I mean, it'll take another minute or two, but seriously, it is really designed to be that type of a CMA. It's designed to be very simple, very easy, and we'll talk about that. We're also going to spend a lot more time on Paragon Connect. I know we kind of got you guys downloaded with that a little bit. Hopefully you guys got that downloaded. It is a browser app today. So what we did is we started out as a browser app, making sure that we got in a lot of the functionality. It works on any device, whether you're on a TV, whether you're on your Apple phone, iPhone, tablet, whatever it is you're working with from a browser perspective, Paragon Connect will work as long as you have that URL. The little shortcuts I put on there are just device shortcuts for right now that you can keep on there. Come fourth quarter, we are all going to be moving this into an app store, right? Functionality wise, it will be the same. So you're not going to have to learn anything new or anything like that. There's a lot of logistics and reasons why we did it the way we did it, but it's working actually beautifully. So we're gonna make that available to you all. And then when it comes there, if you want to download the app, do it. If you don't, right? There'll be a couple of really cool things that will come into play when the app comes with push technology and stuff like that. So I would definitely recommend doing it, but if you're adverse to apps, then you don't have to do it, but you'd still need to do it this way. All right, so we're going to go a little bit from Paragon into Paragon Connect, very little here, but I just want to show you a couple of things. The data that I'm using is from Idaho. Okay, so don't get you guys confused. I'm not an agent in your market, so I don't really have all the agent functionality with listings and things of that nature. So, but your system and this system are exactly the same, right? They may not look exactly the same, but the functionality is exactly the same. Okay, so if I'm clicking a button, you'll have the same button. I'll tell you where there's differences if there are those differences. Okay, so since Doug named this EasyCMA, I'm going to point out just two spots in Paragon before we get into our phones. I'm going to point out two spots in Paragon that you can access EasyCMA, and then we're going to dive into EasyCMA, and then we'll get into the rest of the application. All sound good? Okay, so when if I want to access EasyCMA after you see it, you're going to want to. If I want to do that, I can click on the CMA. This will be the same in your system, and you'll see where it says Create EasyCMA. That's it. You click that, and it will open up the EasyCMA component like you see here, and you can create your CMA. Okay, very simple. All right, and I'm not going to do it right this second. I'm going to show you one other thing, and then we'll move on. If you are running a search, and say you're running a search and you wanted to manually add properties to a CMA, then you can do that as well. So if I wanted to select a few properties, under the More button, you see Add to EasyCMA. Okay, that will be there. Those are the two main places in Paragon that you would be able to go and add to the EasyCMA. Everybody with me on that? That's just the two access points. Now, you know, they say, if you giveth, please don't taketh away, or taketh away. So, More. The More button, and it gives you Add to CMA. Everything I'm showing you right now, from Add to EasyCMA stuff, it's available for you guys today, sneak peek, but tonight, midnight, it's going away. I know. It'll be, that's Doug's call. I say, let's blame him. I'm just kidding. But it will be on July 5th. Okay, so come back on July 5th. So you guys are getting a little sneak peek because of the class of where it is. And so you guys will be a little bit ahead of the game. Those who came to class, come July 5th, you'll be ahead. All those other guys out there are just going to be like, oh my God, what are you doing? So anyway, all right. So I wanted to point those out to you. That'll be the last time we go into Paragon, unless you guys have a specific question about Paragon. We're going to jump into Paragon Connect. Now, also, let me show you this. I'm sorry. If you're in Paragon and you want to access Paragon Connect, under your resource button, you'll see a little icon there that says Paragon Connect. You can access it there. If you're in the Clarity dashboard, You call it Clarity Dashboard? If you're in the Clarity Dashboard, you'll see two icons, a Paragon icon and a Paragon Connect icon, right? And you can get to it from there. Or for those that are in the class and for all your friends out there, that you can have them access it directly from their phones or tablets the way we just set it up, okay? All right, so I want to point that out. When you click that icon or you get on your phones, it looks like this. And I'll show you this. Everything that I'm doing, if you're on your phone, then everything that I'm doing on my computer is available to you guys on the phone. That's the beautiful part about Paragon Connect, is it is built and designed to be mobile first. So everything that I'm going to show you, all the icons, whether I'm in this icon, I'm going to properties, I'm going to residential, and I'm not teaching right now. I'm just kind of quickly going through this. And I just wanted to show you my sellers tab. We're going to go through this on the computer, but everything that I'm doing is identical on my phone as it is on the computer. Okay. So really, and I think that we're trying to kind of get the feel for about 20 minutes, right? We're thinking about 20 minutes. You spend about 20 minutes on Paragon Connect with your phone or whatever, and you're pretty close to getting masterful at it, right? It's going to be that easy for you to learn. And the nice thing is, I answer your question. The nice thing is, if you're doing it on your phone or you're doing it on your computer, when you go to the other one to the other, it's the exact same experience, even where the buttons are located. Okay. So everybody follow me on that. Guys are having a good time next door. I love it. Are we in the right class? Exactly. You guys are on your own. I'm going over there. All right. So what was the question back here in the back?
Evidently, I don't know my password. Secondly, how did you say you connected through Paragon? Because maybe I come into Paragon.
Yeah. So if you're in Paragon under resources, you'll see a Paragon Connect, should be a Paragon Connect link there. Yeah. Okay. So now we're in Paragon Connect, and this is what it's going to look like. Yours may, if you log into it, it's live for you guys right now. If you log into it, it may look a little different than mine, primarily probably because of photos. And if you don't have any contacts in the application, then this little bar here, this whole little area will be missing. It'll just be quick actions, my inventory, and unread comments. Okay. So if you don't have any contacts, I'm going to kind of lean on you a little bit. You need to put contacts in because there's some really powerful pieces of technology that you will benefit from, right? And your consumer will benefit from. All right. So this is Paragon Connect. This is the home screen of Paragon Connect. Like I said earlier, exact same experience on your phone or your tablet, Droid or iPhone. When I'm here, the way this is broken out, you've got some icons across the top. This is a location icon, a power search icon, messages icon, hot sheet, and we'll go into these. On the left-hand side, navigation, just like I showed you on the phone, here's all your main pieces of navigation that you'll be able to access. Paragon's broken into buyers and sellers. How many people knew that? How many people have actually set up a seller in Paragon? Not yet? Okay. So after this class, you guys are going to thank me because seller's mentality, I told the other class like this, doing buyers and sellers, when you break them into two different components, there's a bunch of functionality for the seller and a bunch of functionality for the buyer, right? Sellers' mentalities have not changed, even though the market has, right? I tell the same story every class. I have tons of friends of mine that call and say, my realtor stinks. I said, what? They said, yeah, I listed my house yesterday and I got 0 offers. I'm thinking, it was yesterday at 5 o'clock. They said, yeah, but Rick sold his house in 20 minutes. I said, yeah, a year and a half ago, that was probably the case. That's not the case anymore. So what our sellers are looking for is what? Data. They want information. They don't want a realtor. They don't want us to go knock on the door and say, hey, hadn't seen you in 30 days and we need to drop the price $5,000. What? That's the first time I've heard you in 30 days, right? That's their mentality. That's sometimes how they think. I know not from you guys, but when I hear the consumers out there. So I'm going to show you some really cool functionality to where if you don't have your contacts in and you hadn't assigned them to a property, if you have properties for sale, why you want to do that, right? It's going to instantly be instant gratification and really elevate your opportunities. Okay. So bear that in mind if things look different. So again, buyers and sellers, we're going to go into that. Here are my contacts. And I'll tell you this quick story, and just to see what you guys think. I know what the other classes think, but if I were to ask you guys, who is your most active contact? Who's your most active buyer? Just what their name is. Most people have no idea, right? They're like, I got no idea. Well, if you were to ask me that question in a matter of seconds, as quick as I can get my phone out, I can tell you Heather is my most active person, right? She's the one I need to pay the most attention to. And here's why. Paragon Connect is very dynamic, right? It's consumer centric, and it's also parcel centric, right? And we'll get into those in a little bit. The consumer centric part is I can see that in the last 7 days, she's favorite possible. She's given me 3 comments. She's visited the collaboration site 58 times in the last 30 days, right? She's busy. I better darn well make sure I'm on top of what she's doing. Does that make sense? So if you were to ask me that question, I could be sitting on the boat and tell you instantly who my most active buyer is, right? Just the same, if I would go to Kevin and Tony, I've missed a boat with these guys. Sorry for the boat reference. I love boats. But so anyway, so I missed the boat with these guys because Kevin has gone 1 day and Tony 0. So either I've set up the wrong search, maybe we didn't connect on something, something's amiss because they've done 0 on the information that I'm sending them. So they're just as important, but through Paragon Connect, again, all from my phone, sitting on the boat, I can tell you this information that quick. Down the page, and I'm going to go back to that here in a minute, but down the page, we have our quick action links. These are quick actions to get to things. For example, power search. If I wanted to go to a power search, and again, my area is in Idaho, the data they give me, and I type in Eagle, it brought back anything that contains Eagle, all my saved searches, any listings associated to Eagle membership. And the more information you put, the tighter the response comes. Does that make sense to everybody? So if I type in the number 231, then I'm going to get anything 231. But if I write in 231 Main Street, I'm getting 231 Main Street. Does that make sense to everybody? So the more you put in, the better. And these are all clickable. So I could actively put in the word Eagle and go to any of my searches that quick. Listings near me, that's basically search where you stand. I can click on this and it's going to bring me to a map and it's going to say, hey, you're located here. Here's all the properties around you, right? And we'll get into that in a little bit later. Edit your listings. One of the things you can do on Paragon Connect, just like you do on Paragon, but the cool thing is it's all on your mobile device, full edit capabilities. So you can edit the entire listing, every field in Paragon there. You can even add a listing right from your mobile device if you choose to do so. And I'll show you that. Save searches. These are all your saved searches. Now here's a really cool piece. If you save the search in Paragon, it's also saved in Paragon Connect. Okay. So vice versa. So if you save the search over there and you log into Paragon Connect, looked at your saved searches, they would be there as well. Okay. Your inventory information's here. These are all hot and clickable. So if you have expiration listings, you can click on that. And here's all the unread, here's some unread comments, and we'll get into that in just a minute. Okay. So let's get into one of the first search things that people like to do, especially on their phone. And you'll see this little icon up here at the top. I like doing this on the computer since you can't see my finger tap, but I can do this on my phone. If you were to tap that, it opens up the map and it starts to say, where are you located? And it brings back any properties that you're located. Well, mine brought back 0 because this is what? Idaho data. And I'm in Kansas, or I was gonna say Kansas City, Wichita. I was in Kansas City last week, in Wichita. But here's a really cool feature. Say you're out and about and you're at a subdivision or at a location, and your client says, hey, tell me what's listed around a certain golf course, right? So you can kind of get the theme. I like boats, golf, things like that nature. I'm actually getting into pickleball. If you haven't played that, it's fun. So anyway, so I can click on the search button, and I'm going to type in for this demo, Banbury Golf Course. There it is. Click. Boom, there it is. Here are the listings around there. Okay. If I was standing at Banbury Golf Course, all I would have had to do is just click that button and it's there. But since I wasn't there, I just typed in the search. Everybody with me on that? Pretty simple. You have to hit the search on your bottom right-hand corner. You'll see that magnifying glass. Yeah. Yeah, so you, oh, you're okay. When you class clicked yours, it didn't take you there. Oh, okay. Sorry. Ding ding. My bad. That's because I remember we kind of put you guys ahead of the game as far as service. July 5th, you get this. July 4th, you got that. Sorry. So yeah, so the same concept. I am so apologize. So the same concept there is you would type in a custom address and you would get to the same thing I'm doing there. So yeah. So far, sorry. That was on my bad. So we've made it quicker and easier. You wouldn't go to that screen. You would go directly to this screen. Okay. So I'm kind of, again, giving you a little preview of what you guys are going to be seeing. Now, following here, this is really cool. I want you guys to really pay attention to this. This is going to set you aside from all those folks that didn't come to class. Well, there's a lot of folks that came to class before you, so you got to compete with them. Anyway, let's just kind of role play with me for a little bit. And I'm on my phone, remember, out and about on the phone, taking my client to this property. And it was role play and say they were looking at this $1.1 million property. And they're looking at it, they like it, blah, blah, blah. But really, they walk out the front door and say, you know what? I really like that house next door. And you get that crickets. You're like, well, I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to do. Okay, let me start trying to figure out what to do. Most classes, I say, what do you do? And they say, well, I don't know. We go out to a big box store and start printing websites and trying to figure out what's going on and see if I can get some AVMs and stuff like that. Well, in Paragon Connect, because remember I said parcel centric, if you were to click on the parcel itself, it's going to give you some parcel dimensions. Everywhere you see, and this is, you need to write this down. Everywhere you see the little 3 dots, that is your overflow. That just means there's more information for you to get to, okay? If you tap the overflow, if you've clicked on a parcel, it's going to say detail report, okay? If I clicked on the detail report, again, remember, I'm on my phone. I do this in seconds. I quickly can see the property next door, and look at this. I can see the propensity to sell that property, estimated equity, estimated loan to value, the owner's name, address, and some mortgage information, all kinds of information right there at my fingertips, even an AVM for those properties. You guys will not have Zillow. It's not turned on in this market, okay? But you will see. Say that again? Okay, let me show you. So again, this is important. I don't want you guys to forget this. So I click on the parcel. This is the house that we were showing. They asked me about this house or this house or this house. They asked me about a house that's basically not in the MLS. Most of the time when I ask an agent, what do you do then? They just give me the, I don't know. I get back, I go to Zillow. I start trying to figure out what that property may be worth. Here, you click on it, your overflow button, these 3 dots, detail report, street view, all this great information, okay? And that's just half of it. So now I'm looking at this property. I can tell my client, I don't know if they'll sell the property or not. They are, you know, you don't even say 50-50. You can just say, you know, they're a medium. The algorithm runs low, medium, high listed, right? Low, medium, high listed. Those are the categories. If it's low, the chance of them listing is very low, right? And it based on the algorithm it runs, estimated equity, loan to value, all that stuff. If it's high, means the probability of them selling is pretty high if they wanted to sell. Doesn't mean they're going to sell or they've asked to be sold. It's just everything about their property means that they could sell. So if I were you and I was looking at properties and I was clicking down the block and I was seeing low, 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 high, well, that would be if I was going to knock on the door, that would be the door I'd knock on. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. All right. So here's the other half of this equation. I can watch the property right now. It says unwatched because I'm watched it. So, but I can watch that property. So when you click watch, you're now associated to that property. And when you're associated to that property, it'll turn the property blue. Like, see, it turns that icon blue. So now the parcel's blue. Everybody see that? So now the parcel's blue. Let me know that I'm watching that property. If anything changes on that property from a public record perspective, meaning an AVM changes, mortgage changes, ownership changes, it goes from Mr. and Mrs. to Mrs. or Mr. whatever. It goes into foreclosure. You're going to get notified. Okay. Anything that changes the algorithm in a direction one way or the other, you're going to be notified. So it would be nice to know if you're looking at this property for Doug and it went under foreclosure, that's a pretty easy call to make to Doug and say, Doug, we got to look for something else. That went under foreclosure. They didn't call me back, whatever it is you want to do. Okay. So basically I'm building you and giving you an opportunity to create some of your own leads, right? So you're starting to see those properties. Hopefully you're following me here. Sure. It doesn't make it exclusive. It just means you're working and they're not, right? So you're in class, they're not. So yes, if we all click a certain property, then we would all get that notification, right? Because we all have different clients, but that is a true statement. Yes. So we are working on that piece. It shows as listed, but being notified when it goes listed is not turned on this moment, but that will be. And it's all about timing, right? It needs to be the timing of that. So we're trying to work on that for you guys. Yes, but we are working on that. No. That does not come out July 5th. I wish it would, but no. Nope. That does not come out July 5th. All right. So here's another cool feature. If I'm on my map, and you remember when I put this in, I didn't put any criteria. I just said, where am I? Click. It put me, I'm in Kansas, and it didn't mess up. So I said, okay, what do I want to do? I really want to know what's going on a golf course. So I typed in the golf course, still no criteria. It plops me into the golf course and gives me those properties. If I'm on my phone or on the computer, this little icon here, which looks like a little oil filter type thing, just means filter right here. See up top? Okay. If you tap that, it'll open up a list of criteria that you can fill out. Okay. If you want to jump around on criteria, you can click this is another icon you need to be familiar with. And they're the same icons. Once you learn it once, you know it forever, is the binocular. So for example, if I click on that and I want to go somewhere, I can click on my binoculars and maybe type in subdivision, and I'll go right to the subdivision tab, right? Or wherever I want to do, if you wanted to add in criteria, and you guys can play around with that. The next icon over is showing me all the fields that I've got data in. Okay, so I got access into that data. Once I go down and search, and then, this little icon under the search icon is your draw icon. You can click on the draw and draw with your finger or whatever. You can save this search, or you can access your saved searches, rename the search, whatever you want to do, right? You have all of your filters are here. So all of your like floodplain zones, all that stuff, and it works exactly on your phone as well. So if you're out and about and you wanted to see if a property was in a floodplain, you could actually click on that floodplain and it will show for you. And that may be the same thing that we talked about earlier with the map. Yeah, see, that's the
lets me choose criteria at the top, but not a fun.
right. So yeah, so that's the July 5th thing. Sorry about that. Yeah, so you guys are all on your phones. I told you guys were advanced already. So some of the things I'm showing you, like that filter and stuff like that, I don't have the back piece, because what you're going to see is this. That mean, you can play around that for the next few days, but come July 5th, that will change to this. Yes, the final will be your criteria search, right? And the cool thing about that is, and it'll make more sense to you here in just a second. I'll pull up another piece. The next icon over looks like a little paper type thing. If you click on that paper, this gives you the ability to view that search either as a thumbnail or as a spreadsheet. Okay. View it as a spreadsheet. Here's a really cool functionality. If I'm on my phone, like spreadsheets just weren't a part of a phone. You don't have that probably either, do you? Okay. So July 5th, you'll have that too. You'll have the ability to see that on your phone as well. So spreadsheets are applicable on your phone also. Okay. Yep. If I wanted to print, you can come into a print area from a particular report. It would be from your thumbnail report. And the way that it's set up for print is it's print through, I have to pull it. I don't know why the print's not here, but yes, you have a print capability. And there's two different prints. There's a customer print and an agent print. Okay. That's the other thing is, as things keep going, print is starting to kind of go by the wayside. And then we'll talk about that here in a minute. But anyway, so you do have the capability. So I wanted to point that out to you from just doing that quick little location-based search. We'll get in there. We'll get in there a little bit later. Or text them. Yep. On the seller side, so now we talked a little bit about the search, but I want to talk sellers first, and then we'll go to buyers. So if you click on the sellers, if you're on your phone and you have property to sell, they're going to be listed right there. If you don't have them assigned to a contact, then you're not going to get some of these features that I'm about to talk about, right? So you want to have your contacts in the system, and you want to assign those contacts to those properties. Okay, let me show you why. Just like I asked you earlier, who's your most active buyer? Some of you knew, some of you didn't. Most in all the other classes, most people didn't, right? The same thing would be if Heather called me and I'm again, on the boat, on the beach, wherever I am, and she says, what's happening with my property? What is it being viewed? What's the activity look like? Stuff like that. Well, I mean, you can get there in Paragon, but if I'm on my phone, I want to be able to access that very quickly. I can click sellers here. I can see on her property how many folks have favored it, possible it, or rejected it, right? That's the first thing I can see very quickly. If I click the three icons, what does that mean? More information, right? Exactly. Good job. So I click on more information. It gives me more access to do different things. I can look at real quickly at her viewers, at the statistics of this particular property. And I can see if this was a real property, 7 days, 14, 30, 90-day graphical representation. I can see how many views agents versus buyers, how many recommended it, save searches, comments, social media activity, views from email, or even Facebook views, okay? So instantly I can see all of this information and get a good feel for what's happening with that property, right? If we've got just a tremendous amount of activity and no offers, maybe there's something we can talk about, right? But I can give this information instantaneously. She also can say, well, what's the competition look like around me? Well, I can click on competition and it's going to bring back any kind of competition that I may have around that particular property. Okay. So I hope you guys are following me here in those scenarios with my customer. One, I knew who my most active customer is. Two, if my client were to call me that's selling the property and say what's happening with the property in seconds, I can tell them exactly what's happening. Everybody with me on that? Okay. Now, how do you think that feels versus, well, I don't know, let me call you back, right? It's a completely different collaboration. So anyway, I want to point that out to you. And here's the other beautiful part about this report, and I'll show it to you in the Collaboration Center real quickly. If I'm in the Collaboration Center, if you've never seen this, we're going to talk about this. My seller also has, before she even calls me, she also can look and see what her activity is on her property, right? And this report can be sent out to her on a daily or weekly basis. So it's a nice touch point from a seller perspective. Every day you can touch them, or every week you can touch them with what's happening with their property, right? Consumers absolutely love that, right? That takes you from here to here instantaneously because you're giving them information and it's graphically represented and it looks really, really pretty. So they would get a report like this. They could do it on a daily or weekly basis. Okay. So again, that's why it's important to put some of your customers in there. All right. So that's what I wanted to talk to you a little bit about here. If you wanted to, maybe say you wanted to change notification, maybe your client is going out of town and you want to change some notification options, you can actually change some notification options here as well, or assign or edit the listing. All right, if this is your listing, you can come in and edit that listing right from here as well. And there's a couple other places you can get to it, but I'll show it to you from here. Yeah, I mean, you could do that in Paragon, right? Yeah. Yeah. So now I'm in to edit. So you saw the listing, now I'm going to edit. In edit, in most mobile applications, you get a very small subset of fields that you can edit. In Paragon Connect, you can edit every field. So you can imagine all the fields that you would have to be able to edit. If you're on your phone, you can imagine how long that list would be. So what we did is we made it smart, and that the binoculars mean what? Search. Okay. So if you see the binoculars, that just means that's a find button. So you can click the binoculars and say, I wanted to change the remarks. I can type in remarks and there it is. Okay. Everybody follow me on that? If I wanted to change the price on a property, I can just type in price and it'll bring back my price. If I wanted to change the beds because they added a bedroom, I can do that. And you see how fast and quick it's going to bring back this information. Okay. And so every field is available. It follows the same business rules. So just because you access it through the mobile doesn't mean you're going to short circuit any rule that's built into the MLS. Okay. So that's a really cool feature. The next feature is the flag feature. This just tells you all the fields that are required, right? There are certain fields required in an MLS. You guys have them. Every MLS has them. This just gives you a view of, if you just want to access just all your required fields and change one of those, you can do that, or do what I just did the way that I like to do it is through the binoculars. All right, the next area is the 3 dots, and those 3 dots mean more. Now pay attention to this. This is really cool. More information. Yep, this is like your overflow. This property is already in the MLS, but follow me with this real quick. This property is already in the MLS. What I'm getting ready to show you is you can do it when the property's in the MLS or just before you push the button to go to the MLS, okay? Meaning you're going to pre-fill out all this information, just like you're getting ready to list this property, but before you actually list it, I want you guys to go through this process, okay? And that's this. Price analysis, okay? If you're in Paragon Connect, you have the price analysis here. Let me quickly go over here and show this to you. If you're in Paragon itself, you get the same kind of concept, but I just want to point it out to you. If you're in Paragon, you'll see this price analysis button right here, okay? So if you're in Paragon, you can do the price analysis button. It's going to be right here. And this is, pretend this, you haven't posted this listing, but you fill out all the information and you're getting ready to post it. The last thing you need to do is just validate that price, okay? You with me so far? All right, let's go back over to Paragon Connect because I'm doing it from the boat and you guys are doing it in the hot office. Kidding. All right, so anyway, I'm here. You guys follow me, right? So I'm going to do a price analysis on this particular property. Right now, because I initially put it in at 988,000, and in my demo database, I got 3 people looking at it. 3 people, 3 prospects, okay? But before I actually push the button, I want to play around with this. So for example, instead of 988, let's make it $1 million. I got 8 people looking at that. That's how quick I can figure out how I can price from a strategy standpoint. So basically, I'm pricing from power. I now know if I were to price that house at $988,000, because that's kind of what I'm feeling, that I had 3 people looking at it. If I price it at $1 million, I got 8 people looking at properties that fall within that category, right? Doesn't mean you're not going to have to move the price around a little bit, but you're going to get the maximum exposure for that property if you follow these processes. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. Once the property is posted in the MLS, and you have to have that conversation about price adjustments, you can run that price analysis right then as well, right? So before you say, hey, look, we need to probably drop the price $10,000, maybe you should look and see, do you really want to drop the price $10,000? Because you could drop yourself right out of the market. Does that make sense? So if we're competing with each other on the same property, and I'm looking at this price and this property as a strategy, I can say, you know what? If I were to price this at $1 million, I have 8. Or if we were to adjust the price, say I were to adjust the price to 950. Everybody always thinks if I go 950, then it would be a better deal. Not in this scenario, right? In this scenario, I just cut 4 people out of the possible equation. Does that make sense? Everybody make sense on that, how I'm doing this? So do you guys understand, like, remember how it was reverse prospecting? And everybody had to opt into that. Nobody ever did. Well, this takes this times 10. So I'm able to do these types of things. And the really powerful part about all of this, I could sit there at lunch with Doug and start doing some price analysis before I get back to the office, right? I can do these types of things. This is powerful. Also, if the AVMs evaluations are there, it would be there for you there as well. So those AVMs would show up right here for you. Now, here's the cool thing. If I hit apply price, then my seller, here's the other part of that equation. As soon as I hit apply price, you remember that report that I showed you with all the people looking at it and everybody that got some information and those charts and everything like this? Instant gratification. So as soon as I hit apply price, all those people that now got this new listing, my seller now sees her new report that comes the very next day, or when she logs in and happens to look at it the next second, she looks at it and says, wow, we changed the price from this to this or this to this, and an instant spike in notifications and things that went out, right? So there's some excitement there that I told her that if we change the price, she's going to get a lot more exposure, right? And it's not just me saying it, she's graphically seeing it, right? So it's like, wow, okay, he said we would get it. Obviously, we're going to do it. Doesn't mean I'm going to get an offer tomorrow, but I'm telling her exposure to that property has increased greatly. Everybody follow me on that? Okay. All right. Here's a couple other really good, cool features here. I'm going back to my 3 dots, hitting more. This is really, really awesome. If I'm on my phone and I want to validate the address, I'm doing it on the computer now because I can. If I want to validate the address, how many guys validate the address? Oh, good. Okay. So that's good. So you go in and you can validate the address. You can do this on your phone as well. So if I wanted to click on, it's the same view, exactly the same. If I wanted to come in and slide this over, I can slide this over. If I were to apply that, it now moves my cursor over to there, right? And I can do the same functionality right there on my phone, right? That's pretty slick. Another cool couple of things here, my open houses, tour, documents, and the ability to edit photos. Okay, let me do this for you just so we can, so I can show you. Whoop. All right, you guys see how I'm doing the exact same thing on my phone. Oh, oop, sorry. Oh yeah, I gotta accept it. I forget accepting that. Okay, so this was the same property, the same edit the listings, everything that we were just talking about, the same price analysis that we just talked about, right? Everything there. If I come in, I want to go in and do my validate my address location just to show you that we can. I can change it to a satellite just like we did over there. If I were to take this, drag my, whoop. I guess it won't do it now. It was doing it earlier. Sorry. Hold on, sorry. Yep, just taking my finger and just dragging it over, but it's not doing it for me right now, and I don't know why. Hold on, the whole thing just died. Sorry, guys. Demo. Let's try to get there again real quick. Sorry about that. See if I can get it to work for me this time. Yeah, so there it goes. So I can drag it right over on there with my finger as well. If I were to apply that, it would stay there. But I like kind of doing that. All right, a couple other things I was going to show you guys. We did that. We can add open houses. We can set up tours. We can even add documents right from our phone as well. So if you had files on your phone and you want to upload those documents, you can do that. You also have the capability of coming in and editing the photos. If I wanted to say reorder those photos on my phone, I can take and just drag those photos right there on my phone. If I'm on my computer, I can do the exact same thing. Okay. I just kind of want to give you guys an example of some of the things you can do. If I wanted to update or edit a photo, I can come in and update the image editor or replace that photo, or I can come in and add labels right there on my phone as well. Okay. Just wanted to show you that a little bit on the, again, if I wanted to, oops, sorry, go back and edit that listing, click on my binoculars, and I wanted to go to remarks. You know, there's my remarks right there on the phone. So same kind of concept, everything I just did on the computer, same thing on the phone, have that same capability. Okay, let me go back to my computer. That's Paragon. This is Paragon Connect. This is, yeah, they're one, it's kind of one and the same. One's built for mobile, and that's kind of what we're showing. Everything's kind of, this is kind of built for mobile. Okay. So any questions on that so far? Any questions on edit and listing or anything like that we've talked about? Everybody kind of following me? Yeah, it will. Yep. Everything it's in pair is over here, right? So if you look in, you'll be able to see it. Yep. Because they're kind of one and the same, right? They're running off the same database. And so it depends. So if you want to keep using the Paragon, but this is, if you want to go out in the field and you're on your phone, I highly recommend you using this, right? If you guys tried to use Paragon on your phone, it's pretty hard, right? You like it? Okay. Paragon Connect, you like it? Good. I like this. So there you go. You two different people. See, I like the way this looks and acts versus just the standard Paragon on the phone. To me, this works for me better. Yeah, it makes it a little easier for me. But then you might, if you like it, then you don't have to change that. All right, so let me go a couple other things. Back to home, if I wanted to do a power search, we talked about that, listings near me, a residential search. So if I wanted to come in and do a residential search, I can get to it from here, or I can get to it from my left-hand navigation. So if you click on your properties, you've got your near me search again, hot sheet tour around Wood House. If I click on my residential search, it's going to bring back all the fields, and these fields are all set up exactly the way you have it set up in Paragon, so they match each other. If you wanted to fill this out, you can fill this out. If you wanted to find a particular field without scrolling down, again, you can hit your binoculars, maybe type in subdivision, and maybe this is a subdivision in Idaho. Put that subdivision in, close it, and it's going to update my listings. Once it updates my listings, I've got 5 results. If you're just kind of role playing with me, I said, well, let me see all this. Remember, what does this icon do? It shows you all the criteria that's got data in it, or all the fields that have data in it. If I clicked on that, these are all the fields that I have. I've only got 5 results. If say I wanted to get rid of that 2 rivers, I could just tap my finger on that, and now I'm back to those 44 results. Okay. Another really cool feature is you have the ability to look at your last 5 searches, whether it's in Paragon Connect or Paragon. It doesn't make any difference. If you were to tap on that, this gives you all the searches that you've ran. If you click on the big box, it takes you into the criteria. If you go on to the little arrow, it runs the search. So play with me for a second. You're in Paragon at the office, running some searches. You get up, walk out, go to lunch, and go, gosh, I wonder what that search I was running. Well, you open up Paragon Connect and go to last 5 searches, and there it is, right? So you can it'll follow you along like that, which is really, really cool. Okay. All right. So a couple little things. Let's go ahead and hit search. We talked about this earlier. Oh, there's a couple other things here. Your last 5 searches. This is where you can come in. Oh, that's new. That's brand new. That's even brand new for me. Now, this may not come for you on the 5th because that's brand new for me. I just saw that. Okay. I'm not even going to go into it. I don't even know if it works. Okay. So, I mean, that's from just, Doug, that's just from this morning. Yeah. So this, I'm going to tell you what this is, right? So don't get excited about it just yet. This is the ability, because right now, if you're in your mobile, customizing something is almost impossible, right? They figured out that, okay, not only when you go into your mobile, so I could go up into my mobile and say there's fields that I want to adjust on my mobile experience. I'm going to be able to allow to customize those fields on the fly. That's pretty impressive. I don't think I've ever seen that before. So they're going to be able to customize the field on the search on the fly, just like you can do in Paragon, how you can set up and customize those searches at a desktop level. You're going to be able to do it at a mobile level. That's pretty cool. And modify the search containers. Anyway, awesome. Good to go, guys. So search, if I hit search, I'm going to bring back those 44 properties. And when those 44 properties come back, there they are, right? And this is smart. So if I click on the little icon, this little smart bar will come across the top. I can go into a different report, a map or spreadsheet like I showed you. I can share these, email, text, any of those types of things, or I can go into my overflow and do these types of things, right? I can add it to a cart. I can recommend it. I can go into driving directions. There's that print button for you. Add it to a CMA or go to my third-party integrations, okay? Pretty powerful. And really, I'm doing this on the computer, which kind of gives it a little bit of zing. But if I'm on my phone, that's a lot of zing, right? Because I can do all of this stuff that I'm talking about right from the power of my phone, okay? And if I were to select maybe select 3 icons, these will change and do different things. You can select up to 6 when it comes to driving directions. That's pretty cool. You can go select 6 properties and hit driving directions, and it'll map out all 6 of those properties. Put right here. Oh, you hit driving directions. Oh, right here. See this icon, and this is the same icon here. It's got those 3 little dots. That's a universal share button. So if you click that, it'll bring up your ways to do that. Yeah. So if you hit driving directions on your phone, plug it into CarPlay if you have that, or Droid, whatever you have, off you go. Okay. All right. So that's pretty cool. Are you guys staying with me so far? We're kind of winding it down. Contacts. So here, let's get into our contacts. Remember those contacts we talked about? We talked about them as sellers. We're going to talk about them as buyers. Okay, so from a buyer perspective, I can see these little bubbles here. I can tell, and these bubbles coincide with this little legend here. So 3 favorite, 2 possible, and she's made some comments. Okay, these comments are going to make sense. If I go into her comments, I can see that she's made comments. I'm saying, how about 3 p.m. Right? Boom. So she was just notified. I said, how about 3 p.m.? And I'm going to show you in the collaboration center how that sets up. Okay. And I can see this property and all the little text that we've had going back and forth. Okay. So pay attention. Remember that. Let's go back home again, just because I'm going to start there. I can click on any of these, right? I can click on Heather or James, whatever, or you can go in and go to the contacts tab. Okay. And it'll bring up your list of contacts, and I can get to her this way as well. So there's Heather there. I can call Heather, email Heather. I can go to Heather's collaboration center. I'm going to click on Heather. And just like in the last 7 days, I can see what she's done. I can see what she's done since I've set her up. She's had 7 properties undecided, 40 that are favorite, 15 possible, 1 rejected. I want to dive into that. I can see how her searches are set up graphically, right? So if we were role playing and Heather calls and says, hey, I have 8 favorites. I have 4 possibles in that 1 million eagle. Can we take a look at those? Again, on the boat, at the golf course, whatever you guys like to do, pickleball court. And I'm like, hold on a second. Let me get that for you. Well, if I'm using Paragon Connect and I'm showing you the same thing, you guys can kind of know where I'm going with this, hopefully. Once I'm logged in and I gotta do this. I gotta accept it. If I'm here and you were to have that same conversation, then I could just quickly say, oh, those 4 that's in that property, I go to my buyer activity and I hit those 4 possible, and I can look at those 4 possible and say, which one are you looking at? Oh, I'm looking at that 6112 Walton Fountain Drive. Okay, I can get some more information about that. Or how about I take it and put in my driving directions? I'll meet you over there in 30 minutes, right? I mean, hopefully you guys are role playing with me enough to know how quick and easy it is for me to be able to access this all from my phone. Okay. And that's kind of the power of what I'm trying to show you guys here. It's going to take me 20 hours to get there, but I'll get there. All right. So anyway, I wanted to kind of point that out to you. Everything that we're doing here is good. I can also click on this and get more information in more detail about this particular property, et cetera. Add to cart, edit listing, all those different things. Okay. All right. Let's close this out. Let me go back to the computer. Okay. Same exact experience. From here, I want to show you one thing. The collaboration center, you guys, some of you are using the collaboration center, some of you are not, right? If you're not, I urge you to start doing it, right? Email notifications are great. Collaboration center is greater, better, bestest, whatever you want to say. It is amazing. So at the end of the day, so I've got this. And so if I'm looking at this from an agent perspective, but I wanted to see what Heather's doing, I can click this little world and it's going to open up her collaboration center. So it's going to bring back her collaboration center, and when her collaboration center is going to give her all this information, right? So I'm now looking at Heather's view of this information. You guys with me there? See how we transitioned? So I went from agent. Now I'm looking at from Heather's perspective. This is her view. I just clicked on the little world. So if I'm here and you set her up, you got to set her up. I can click on the world and it'll take me right to her view. Okay. If she's not set up, then we got to get her set up, and I can show you guys that here in a second. Okay. So when I'm here, this is one of the hottest things going, guys, because consumers are looking for data. They're looking to interact, right? We talked about, we still do it to this day. We send our clients emails and expect them to print things off or look at static data, right? People are they want to interact, right? Interaction is the key. And so when we say interaction, it's like you're trying to cause them to do something, right? Versus just getting a static piece of paper. You don't know if they read it, didn't read it, understood it, didn't understand it, unless they call you, right? It prompts them. This is showing you updates from the dashboard. This is showing you things that she needs to take a look at, right? There's 17 new properties, 7 price changes, 24 with a status update. There's 8 open houses. You wanted to know that? Absolutely. There's 5 first photos. There's lots of things going on here. She can favorite possible reject properties, right? So if she starts rejecting properties, and where this is going, I mean, I'm not going to blow your mind on this in a little bit, but where this is going is going to be phenomenal. So when I'm standing here again in 6 months, I'm going to blow you away with some of the AI stuff. But anyway, what we're going to talk about is you have favorite possible and rejected type scenarios. One of the hottest things going, again, this is actually for my daughter. I use her a lot because she's 27 and went through this process with an agent that kept sending her emails with static reports, expecting her to print them. And she's like, this isn't working for me, right? It's just absolutely not working for me. I don't have a printer. And when I print them out, it's just, I feel like it's a book. And I'm like, okay, so what do you want to do? And she started talking about, she wants to interactivity, right? And so I said, get her on the collaboration center. They were in Greenville, set her up on this. And she says, Dad, this is exactly what I'm talking about. She goes, what I'd love to do is be able to categorize these further. I said, what does that mean? She goes, instead of favorite possible reject, or in addition to favorite possible reject, how about we create these folders, right? These folders are there. And so now my client can create folders. I can create folders for my client, making it very easy for me and very easy for my client to be able to look at these folders and say, I want to create a folder, whatever this folder is, fave, whatever. I just want to create these types of folders for my client. So if I'm looking at these folders, this is in daughter's faves. Oh, I just put that in there a little bit ago. But if I wanted to look at different folders, you have the ability to come in and look at different folders, right? I have it in 2. Customers love this. You're their concierge. You're helping them make a decision, right? You're saying, oh, wow, I heard your dream home's here. This is the best views. These are swimming pool views. This had the best backyard. This had koi ponds. This had this had this. So you're helping kind of take and pull all these properties together so it's bigger than favorite possible rejected. This makes it easy for you because you can access this information. I'm viewing this as Heather. Heather loves this. They have the ability to compare properties. They can compare listings side by side. Consumers love this. This system also alerts them, like if she were to roll down, look, multiple houses exist in this property, please contact her. It'll say, whatever. If there's multiple properties, open houses, it's giving her badges that there's open houses, right? So it's giving her information to kind of prod her along to act and do something. She also has the ability to come in and do, I told you the seller activity. She can also run her own property searches, right? Is this important? Doggone right it is. Because if you don't give them access, they're going out to Zillow or Homes or Realtor or whatever, and they're running property searches, are they not? All the time. And then they're calling you saying, hey, I ran these searches. And you're like, God, I really wish you would run these searches with me, because now I've got to go into Paragon and look for properties that may or may not even be listed anymore or pending or whatever it may be, right? You guys have run those scenarios. Drive your clients to this. This is all real time. They can come in, run their property searches, do the things that they want to do, and all of that information is here. So all of their searches are all here. They can create searches. They can see all their saved searches, all their saved folders, all the communication you guys are having back and forth between certain properties. Remember how we said this? How about 3 p.m.? I just wrote that in Paragon Connect. She now has it here. Very easy for her to see the property we're looking at, the status that we're looking at, and all the kind of the communication we're having back and forth, right? You guys have access to this today. This has all been around for you guys today. Active price change, all of this information. That's why when we talk about how we can kind of move the needle in our favor, first coming to this class, I hope is going to be valuable to you guys, but showing you some of the functionality and the features that you have, I think are very, very valuable, right? Her experience from a Heather perspective, she knows everything. She's got everything that I got, right? I'm giving her this information saying, here, run your searches. Here's your seller activity. When it comes to, I'm the professional. When it comes to finalizing things, I'm your guy or I'm your girl, right? So this is going to give them tremendous amount of information and things that they're looking for. And it's going to keep them here versus going somewhere else. If they click on the property detail, just like your property detail, property information, history, even public documents, right? Any documents that are public, not just private documents, public documents that they need access to, that you've got to go out, create another email, generate to them, are all right here, right? They love that. They're like, this is so much easier than what you've been doing. If you want to expose valuations, you can do that. We even give a mortgage center. They can play around with the mortgage center. This is kind of this community stuff. This is that local logic, Doug, stuff that we kind of were talking about. Community reports. Even down, even from a community report standpoint, they have some of that information associated to it, photos and maps. But look at this. We also have, I'm not sure what you guys have turned on. I know you have the comments turned on, but this is where it prompts them to make a comment. You know, let's go see this at 3 o'clock. I say, sounds good. Right? I can be that easy.
This, when you say, I know you all have the comments turned on. You're referring to,
South Central Kansas,
right,
the MLS.
is it listed or?
In general, so the MLS makes decisions on certain things that are on or off in a scenario, but you have it turned on, yes. Yep. So you have that capability all built within the collaboration center. Here's another little cool fun fact. When the first time they log in or first time they access the collab center, every little page is going to get this. Okay, this is better than Facebook. Facebook didn't even give you a tutorial how to work it. They'll see this page very first. It gives them just a quick little tutorial on all the little pieces and functions that they can do. Close it and off they go. You don't have to educate them how to do it, right? So you don't even have to show them how to do this. It's going to show them how to do it automatically, right? So again, collaboration center, if you're not using it, use it. It's very, very, very powerful. If you're in Paragon and you're setting up your clients, I showed a guy this earlier today, and I'm in my contacts. First off, you have to have your contacts here. If my contacts are in here and I have my collaboration set up, it'll have all these little blue views. That means that they're set up in the collaboration center. If I'm gonna go to Heather, so we've been kind of picking on today. If we go to Heather and I look at her buyer activity and I go to her search that I've got set up for her, if you see this set to email, change it to collab center, right? I think sometimes it may default to that, but I don't know if it's defaulted to that now. If you want to set up, so what that means is any notification that's going out of the system, it's going to prompt her to go to this type of experience versus just a static page printable experience. Does that make sense?
So switch it up from emails to this.
Nope. And do you have it set up to where they have to log in or not log in? So you can change that if you want to. Okay. So they have to log in the first time, but that could be changed if we decide to change that. But right now, yeah. So they would get an email. Let me see. I may even have one.
They still receive emails.
Yeah, like this. So say I would get an email like this. Instead of the emails that we send, like just basic emails, they now get an email that looks like this that says, hey, view your site. You got one new update. Here it is, blah, blah, blah. And you got all this. It just looks so much nicer, right? And then they click on that. It opens up into their collaboration center with that property. Okay. And then everything would be right here. Why? I don't know. They should be. So what do? They'll call you, they don't say anything, or what's the? So when all right, so when you're sending them the information, so that's a good point. Are they have to they logged into it or anything? Do you know if they've logged into it? Okay. Yeah. So if they logged in, so maybe it's just a point of just making sure, hey guys, you know, when I send you this, you have this interactive capability, right? Some people may need a little extra prodding to show this is what you do, this is how you do it, right? Yeah, I don't know, because there's a lot here and there's a lot they can do, right? But they're looking at properties somewhere, right? They got to be looking at the views or properties of some sort. Otherwise, so I'm just curious at how they would be doing that. We can take that offline, but I'd be curious. Oh, so they're not interacting with this. Yeah. Yeah. And you can keep up with that. So maybe it's just a quick little, hey, by the way, did you know you could do this type thing? Yeah. Even on this screen here, like if I click this, it's going to show me what they can do by hitting that little icon right there. So that would be a little like a paradigm shift, a little bit of an education, maybe an education if they went past it too fast and didn't look at it. To say, hey, by the way, do you know you can do this, this, and this? Or do what I said and go and look at some properties with them and say, favorite possible, reject these properties, put them in some folders, do different things, get their experience going. Cause I guarantee you they're out looking at some other website. Right. And so you want them at your website looking at your properties. Otherwise, if you set them on the collab center, they got to interact with it. Not do anything with them. Yeah. I guess everybody can't do everything with them, but hopefully they will. And that'll drive that. That's what it's built and intended to do. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe they're just not doing it. I don't know why they wouldn't do it, but they should. Yeah, could be. I mean, if they're just not interacting with it. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, everybody's different, I guess. What do they say? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink, right? So that's the kind of the concept. So, but anyway, I think the more you guys are educated on the power of the collaboration center and what all it can do, I think when you're setting up a meeting that client, explain the situation. Hey, I'm going to set you up on a safe search. You're going to get a link to a collaboration center. It's very interactive. It helps you help make a decision. You know, that whole concept of telling them how to do it, because this is kind of new stuff compared to how we were doing things 5 years ago, right? 5 years ago, I mean, we evolved from a book to computers and all that kind of stuff. So 5 years ago, we weren't doing anything like this. It was all email with a static printout, right? And so you just got to maybe move our clients over into that scenario. So anyway, so that's kind of the overview I wanted to kind of talk to you guys about, give you guys a big information on this. There's your content. So any properties that you're watching, those would be here. If you wanted to update your settings, your profile, those would be here. If you want to add your photo, you just click and add your photo very simply right there as well. Okay. So guys, that's kind of it. I know we're at the end of the class. Hopefully you guys got some information out of this. I urge you to get in there and play around with Paragon Connect. Kind of what we're looking at, seriously, 20 minutes, 30 minutes max you spend on Paragon Connect and you're going to be a professional, right? You're going to know everything I know just by clicking and tapping around in there, just like you are with, I say Facebook because nobody ever taught us how to use Facebook and we're all very proficient at it, most of us, right? So you just got to get in there and play around with it. Don't get scared of it. And I think you will find that especially on your mobile device, you can stay in Paragon on your desktop all you want, unless you like this view better. I do, but you can do whatever. But if you're on your mobile device, I highly recommend you using Paragon Connect because I think your experience and speed of interactivity will go up tremendously. Okay. So with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this class. Hope you got something out of it. And I really enjoyed you being here. Thank you.